Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, Wisdom in Golf at our wonderful indoor facility at the Royal Quebec Golf Club. And we're talking today about Francesco Molinari. And by the way, hey everyone back in Richmond Hill. Hopefully you guys didn't get as much snow as we are today. Looks like I'm gonna have to shovel a nice 25 to 30 centimeters of snow to start off March. But in the meantime, we're watching Francesco Molinari shooting 64 at the Arnold Palmer. And apparently, there were only 5 birdie opportunities on that golf course today. So he did positively everything right. And if we look back at last year, you know, champion golfer of the year, he's done a lot of good stuff recently. And so he picked up some distance and he's improved his tee to green stats. He's top 10ing everything in those categories in strokes gained. So one of the key factors that we've noticed is he's letting that left heel come off the ground. Then there's so many advantages to doing that. And one of them obviously is gathering a better backswing. So when you allow, and you'll notice in his backswing, he's allowing that left heel to come off the ground earlier, and that will alleviate any issues he may potentially have with his back. Because if you leave that down, you try to resist with the lower body against the upper body, then right away you are in the middle of straining the back. It could be your lower back or your upper back. We've seen injuries across the board in both categories, in thoracic spine and lumbar spine. And many PGA Tour players are recovering from being under the knife, some for the second time, and some more than that, and some for the first time. So allowing that left heel to come off the ground in the backswing is going to keep you out of the of harm's way and allow you to swing strain-free, number one. If you're worried or concerned about that left heel coming back down to the ground, well, if you're focused on the correct items, i.e. the target. So if I'm skipping a stone on water, I've got my skipping stone, I'm sending that skipping stone over there, the first thing my brain's gonna do is go get the ground with my lead leg. So my lead leg's off the ground right now, and the first thing subconsciously I need to do out of pure self-preservation is go to the ground. Why? Your shoulders only have 20 degrees of range. The clavicle and the scapula sit on top of the rib cage. They're strapped in with a lot of different muscle networks. So this is all you got individually. So if I don't turn the body out of the way, all I'm going to get is a big bruise on my chest and a strained shoulder. So in order for me to throw that way, the brain immediately goes to the ground, uses the ground to get my body out of the way, and off I go, and there's my skip. So have a look at anybody skipping stones on YouTube, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Look at a baseball pitcher throwing a pitch, even the side winding pitches. That's where the kinematic sequence or the kinetic chain of the human body lies. So when you're engaging that kinetic chain properly, you get awesome, effortless distance. And when you're focused on the target, then your kinetic chain is delivering not at the ball, but at the target, which is going to increase your accuracy. Because if you stay with that target and you're not worried about the contact with the ball, you're going to be extremely accurate. So he's getting a better kinetic chain, meaning he's getting more distance. He averaged over 301 yards last year for a 5'8" guy. And so the next thing is, because he's focused on the target, well, this is me delivering to a target, and you're going to see a bunch of guys, including Tommy Fleetwood, which I'm analyzing next for Golf WRX on Thursday. You'll see that head position tilt away from the target to allow that swing to move toward the target. So if you're not worried about how you're going to strike it, and you're always top 10ing strokes gained in ball striking and greens in regulation and driver accuracy, then you're not going to worry about this. You're going to go there. So I'm focused on my diamond-shaped target right there. That's all I see in my mind right now. I'm going to let my heel come right off the ground in the backswing. And now because I'm focused on throwing my club towards that target, well, the brain immediately wants to go get the ground. As it goes to the ground and steps on that heel, there's the unwinding of that kinetic chain. So it goes through the heel, through the leg, through the hips, through the core, through the shoulders, hands, shaft, and club head, and there's the release in the direction of the target. So Francesco always sets up beautifully. His backswing basically matches his direction every time, so he's great at matching backswing to direction. So for fades or for draws, he's doing extremely well with. And then he's staying with his picture because he's so confident of the way he's striking the ball. He's going to be releasing and firing at his targets all day, and that's how you shoot 64 at Bay Hill on the final round. So I'm going to pick my intermediate point. I'm going that way. I get into my setup for a little cut. So I gather with the heel off the ground, and I'm going to throw the club to the left of the target. Watch when my heel comes back. So notice my heel planted way before I unwound to that target, and look at how planted I am at the end of my shot. So this is what's going to give me, some tremendous accuracy and some terrific distance. So as far as the driver's concerned, and that's where, for me, in my left-handed swing, there's no way I could play without letting my heel come off the ground. So when my heel comes off the ground, I'm able to finish my backswing, and then it's just like throwing a frisbee. So again, if I had a sword in my hands and I'm slashing my sword in that direction, and you'll notice that many players on tour are lead hand dominant. So there's that little half Happy Gilmore. So what I'm going to do is, I better back that green up, and let me go back that sucker up here. So let's have a look at a driver here. I'm going to hit a nice little draw. So I'm going to start that on the right side of my intermediate point, and I'm going to go at the height of just below my diamond-shaped target right there. So I'm feeling that I'm able to catch the ball slightly on the way up from that position there. I'm going to allow that heel to come off right away in the backswing, and then I'm going to throw my club in that direction at that particular height. Very nicely done. Caught that just a smidge in the heel. Got a pretty good carry out of that. And we got it up to, hey, not bad, 298. Let's have one more go at that, do a little fade. So, nice to have an off-center hit right down the middle of the fairway. So, intermediate point, check. And we're looking at, let that heel come off the ground and throw the club just over that intermediate point right there at just below the height of my diamond-shaped target. Again, nice swing, really well struck. And because I'm throwing it in that direction, how about them apples? So let's have a look at those 300-yard drives. Not bad for a 53-year-old. And my carry right now is basically 283 to 285. And I'm pretty much maximizing my distance. And you can see that I'm not swinging out of my shoes. I'm not losing my balance. Let's have a look. Okay. So here's the last one I had. My club head speed was 113. My carry was 282. My total distance was 301. That path was slightly to the left with a slightly open face. And I basically got a straight spin axis. It says 1.8 to the left. There's probably a little gear effect just off center toward the toe. I had 8 degrees up on the swing, 16 degrees launch angle, and about 2,500 RPM. So there's a pretty, you know, conservative drive as far as my swing is concerned. And if we look at the replay on that, so ball starts off just a little bit to the left and basically ends up 27 feet to the left of my line. And so that's left center of the fairway right there. So if we look at my previous drive, where we were at 298, so I hit a little bit more of a draw on that one. So you notice how my ball started. I was aiming a little more to the right of my intermediate point and releasing there, and that came back with just a wee bit of a draw, and that one was 57 feet to the right. So basically, you know, right rough, or you know, right side of the fairway. Because I hit that a little off center, I got 2,700 RPM. So when I'm hitting the ball in the center of the club face, basically getting about 2,200 RPM on my drives. So the accuracy, you know, you could see that the accuracy of those drives are very decent. I'm getting some good distance, and because I'm 53 now, I can play a little bit more up than the average guy. So for guys my age, I have a pretty decent advantage. So we hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you on Thursday for the video we're going to do on Tommy, because he's been playing extremely well lately, and he's really squeezing and crushing the ball. So Tommy Fleetwood is a guy to look at right now, and we've got a fabulous video analysis for you coming right up on that. See you soon.